TriStar Athletes, Coach Cliff here. I'm at Ironman Montreal, and I'm about to interview Lauren Dahlin. So Lauren is one of our top age group athletes, and she is an up-and-comer. And so I'm excited to interview her about her goals, what she's got planned for this season, for this race at Ironman Montreal, and also her goals at becoming one of the fastest type 1 diabetics to ever race the Ironman distance. So as her coach, I'm going to interview her. We're going to head down here and sit with her, talk all about her preparing, her nutrition, and everything that she's got going on. So pretty excited to sit down with her and take in the view. All right, so you guys have been doing. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to sit here and go through this with me. And tell us a little bit about how you're feeling.
I'm feeling great. The last month has been pretty enchanted, I would say, in tri life. Coming off of training camp at Lake Placid, which was one of the most amazing experiences of my whole life. It was really special. And yeah, I feel like I've been working really hard to get up to this day, so I'm just really excited.
Yeah, I think you should be excited. And so you had thoughts earlier this year, I guess it really was late last year, when we talked about whether or not you wanted to do triathlon in general, or even going to marathoning. So now that you said you've taken that kind of challenge and you're on to Ironman and racing Ironmans, you had Connecticut 70.3. It was a great race. Tell us about that.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I feel like a lot of people with a running background, biking was really, really hard, and that was the major issue, the major pain point for me in thinking about whether or not I was going to continue with triathlon. And then also, I'm a PhD student right now, and I'm very lucky that I have support from my family and from my husband in making this happen. But I was really bombarded by well-meaning people who told me how much I needed a fancy bike as well. And the decision of whether or not to make that plunge was so anxiety-provoking for me. So ultimately, I did decide to get a better bike and try to commit to biking and give this triathlon thing a try, and I'm really, really glad that I did.
Yeah, so when you were at training camp, I started to see it all coming together. So earlier in the year, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be as strong on the bike as I ever want to be. And I said, no, patience, it'll come to you. So there's been this huge growth curve. Connecticut 70.3 was a big breakthrough race. Proved that you can bike strong, run strong, swim strong. And, I tapped you and I said, I think that you have potential to take the type 1 record for a female triathlete. How cool is that, right? There aren't a whole lot of records in life that need to be or can be broken. So, while this is kind of one of many that you will continuously have races, I think that, you're in a position to have a great race tomorrow. And on top of that, maybe, if it's in the cards, you tend to close out a PR at that distance.
Yeah. I mean, we still don't really know what the record is, right? I've been kind of poking around on the internet to try to find another female T1D who's really strong at Ironman. If you're out there, let us know. But yeah, I think it would be really great to, I don't know, I'm hoping to break 12 hours. I think I can do it. We'll see.
That would be awesome. That'd be really awesome.
Ambitious, but I'm ambitious.
Yeah, Lauren is very ambitious and strong. So she's got the desire and the drive, and you've done the work, which is really oftentimes the hard part. So tell us a little bit about your diabetes regimen, things that you do, things that have worked for you. Obviously, we've had a lot of dialogue on how this goes down. What do you think's worked the best for you, and what's still a challenge?
Yeah, I think so. For those of you who don't know, I think one of the fundamentals of the TriStar / Cliffshire diabetes management plan for doing this work is figuring out how to manage your basal rates around exercising differing amounts, because one of the biggest challenges of this training is that some days we exercise for half an hour or not at all, and some days we exercise for 6-7 hours, and that's a huge difference. So I think basal management was a big game changer for me. I started out, I'm on, like, I would say primarily a tubed pump. I'm on the Tandem T-Slim X2, and I really love it for racing because it connects to the Dexcom, so you can see that on the pump, and also you can bolus without looking at the pump. So I just can reach back and bolus through my jersey using a button, even though it's a touch screen. So that's pretty sweet.
That's a pretty cool technique.
Yeah.
One that I hadn't perfected or knew much about, and so that was all you. Pretty cool to be able to do that.
And of course, like, I just started looping, and there are things that I love about that. It's cool not having tubes when I am on the Omnipod, and certainly, like, overnight is just, like, amazing. But still a lot of pain points with looping and trying to figure that out.
But at least it's been able to, export some of that work periodically to the pump and to that system, which is nice. So both Laura and I closed loop, and that's something that we've both been working on.
Yeah. I mean, and the main thing is, even if you can do a lot of tedious diabetes management well on your own manually, sometimes it's nice to just export it for a little while.
And certainly the overnights, right, is probably the best that's good for you, which helps in your recovery. I mean, for sure.
Yeah. I keep on my Dexcom, I have my range set really tight at night between 75 and 130. Yep. So before looping, I would get an alarm basically every night, especially since I tend to run on the higher side.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
So, all right. Lauren has one of the most infectious smiles that she's going to unleash tomorrow on race day. And I think it's one of these things that when you smile, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, you feel good, you do good, but it's inherent for Lauren. So, what are the things that make you smile about doing triathlon? Because you obviously love it. You obviously have been, taken to it. And most people take years to kind of see progression, like you have had, I think. And I think that, what is it about, the sport that has made you excited?
Well, the first thing that came to mind, honestly, is the amazing people with type 1 diabetes I've met, and now coming into the TriStar family and people with diabetes who I've met is just absolutely phenomenal and, like, life-changing. The support is just everything, honestly.
Yeah.
So, it's really cheesy. This year, the ironman saying is Ohana, and I feel like that's one of, Ohana means family, and I'm one of the people who I feel like I can really connect with that, for sure.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think it's just that feeling of challenging yourself on such a deep physical level is just so amazing, and especially for someone with diabetes, like that feeling that you're there just defying the odds is incredible. Yeah,
and certainly I think from my experience, that's what motivated me pretty highly a lot of my career too, and a sense of community amongst the diabetes community to be great and to be we're in this together kind of thing. So what have been the hardest things in your training and some of the planning that I've put together for you? What are some of the unknowns and things that you didn't expect? Because I'm sure there are, when somebody like Lauren, you work with them and they turn over their life to you in their training, right? Suddenly it's like, wait a minute, I have to do something that somebody tells me every day? So tell us about that.
The hardest thing when I started was, so I did my first Ironman coaching myself, and although I don't think I did a great job putting together my training schedule, I felt like I understood why I was doing the workouts that I had put together for myself, again, even if that was wrong. And it took me a really long time both to embrace having someone else take over that understanding for me, but then also realizing that I still had a place in it, and that all of my workouts go better because I understand the purpose behind different types of workouts. And I would say I would encourage everyone to really learn about triathlon and really understand what the programming is about, because it's really hard to implement the programming if you don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, having the buy-in, right,
Yeah.
is a huge part of this, because nobody wants to go do fruitless missions. They want to do what is going to make them better.
Right.
So,
and there's a lot of frustration, I think, especially for me. I was someone who loved doing really intense stuff. Like, that was like part of what drew me into Ironman. And it took me a long time to understand why it's important to have long, easy workouts.
Right.
But understanding and being intentional about all of that stuff, I think really just grew my training and like pushed that trajectory right up.
Yeah. So I think it's really interesting, your background, because it pulls together, the technical side of things, your computer science background of sorts, right?
Yeah.
And the tinkering, which everybody wants to tinker when they're a triathlete. I think that's a part of the process. And what's nice is then there's the coaching process where I'm helping guys say, well, this is where the red line is, not here. And don't worry, Lauren and I go back and forth all the time on what she can and can't do. So she does have a lot more freedom than she realizes, but
Yeah.
no, it's an interesting process. So good luck. Have a wonderful race tomorrow from myself, the TriStar team, from all the Type 1s out there. And this is going to be the first of many great races for Lauren Dolan. I know it. So to be continued, and thanks for joining me. Any last thoughts you want to have for everybody who will be watching?
No, I guess other than just to say that I've been really overwhelmed by all of the support and great messages I've gotten from just honestly random people in the diabetes community, and I'm just really thankful for that, and all of my friends in the New Maryland Triathlon Club, TriStars. You guys are amazing.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks very much. I'll give you a hug. Good luck. Yeah.